Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, November 11th. I'm John Blinn.
And I'm Sonu Babu. Here's what's happening now. For Veterans Day today, the city of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will be closed. Banks, post offices, as well as the downtown service center will also be closed, but liquor stores and the Port Authority of Allegheny County will operate regularly.
A threat was made against the Fox Chapel area high school early this morning at approximately 6 a.m. Officials report that this is the third threat made in recent weeks. Classes in the district's area high school are not canceled, but additional security procedures have been made. School officials say that no threats are taken lightly.
A fire broke out Monday morning in Armstrong County. Firefighters responded to the scene at around 1:30 a.m. near the corner of 6th Avenue and 13th Street. Everyone made it out safely, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
A 12-year-old boy is currently missing in Knoxville. Haj Abdi was last seen on November 8th. He was last seen with a black hoodie and red sweatpants with polka dots and stands at 5 feet tall. Anyone with information should call 412-323-7141.
A student is facing charges after an incident that took place at the Indiana area high school. Authorities say that a 16-year-old boy brought a pocket knife and over a dozen shotgun shells to the school. No one was hurt.
A Pittsburgh police officer was injured after a car accident Sunday evening. Officials say the crash took place on the north side at around 6:40 p.m. on Saturn Way and Jacksonia Street. The officer was struck by a civilian driver who was driving the wrong way. The officer sustained minor injuries and the civilian driver was not injured. The investigation is still ongoing.
2 fugitives from a Penn Hills home invasion were extradited to Allegheny County. They were involved in the death of 35-year-old Aaron Evans and was called to court to answer the charges. On October 9th, officers were called to the 7000 block of Lawton Street and found Evans dead with a gunshot wound. 19-year-old Laren Howard and 18-year-old Laquan Perkins were tracked down to California and arrested 9 days later in Lancaster.
A car crashed into a building after hitting a motorcycle. Police say that the car was crossing onto Glass Run Road from Sheik Street in Baldwin when the accident took place. After clipping the motorcycle, the car ended up crashing into the window of a salon. The motorcyclist was taken to the hospital for evaluation, and the driver of the car sustained no injuries. A man was found dead after being struck by a train on the south side. Police responded to the incident at around 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. During the investigation, officers began using flashlights to look under a CSX freight train.
This morning, David's Diner in Springdale on Freeport Road was broken into. According to their Facebook post, someone threw a brick through the window. There were no injuries and no money was taken since the register was empty. The diner was closed for today.
PennDOT announced that lane restrictions would begin today on I-376 and continue through Thursday night. I-376 will be reduced to a single lane in each direction between the Fort Pitt Bridge and the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. Restrictions will take place from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. PennDOT advises drivers to proceed through the area with caution.
Pennsylvania dams could be a high hazard, according to the Associated Press. Pennsylvania's dam safety program plans to hire more inspectors for over 3,000 dams in the area. Many of the state's dams are 50 to 100 years old.
More transcripts have been released in the impeachment investigation of Donald Trump, shedding light on one White House official's involvement. Meanwhile, lawmakers and the president prepare for public hearings scheduled for next week. Daryl Forges gives us the latest details.
With public hearings in the impeachment investigation just days away, House Democrats are releasing the transcripts from the depositions of key witnesses. Top White House Ukraine expert Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman says the hold on military aid to Ukraine, quote, came from the Chief of Staff's office, adding the reason was to ensure the assistance aligned with administration priorities. The acting Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, failed to appear at a scheduled deposition on Friday.
We wanted to hear whether he made the decision to withhold the aid or did the president order him to withhold the aid.
Speaking from the White House last month, Mulvaney confirmed Trump froze nearly $400 million in U.S. aid to Ukraine. He said it was done in part to pressure the country into investigating Democrats. He later denied admitting the quid pro quo.
The reality is that Republicans are trying to pin this on Mulvaney, arguing that the president may not have been involved. I don't believe that, but Mulvaney could clarify the president's role.
Mulvaney's lawyer says the White House directed his client not to be there, adding to a list of White House officials who defied subpoenas.
I don't want to give credibility to a corrupt witch hunt.
President Trump continues to deny any wrongdoing as he and lawmakers prepare for public hearings next week. I'm Daryl Forgis reporting.
2, 1.
Thank you, Daryl. And now we will send it over to Luke Yost, who is outside with the weather.
How is it looking out there?
Thanks, John. And as I'm looking at the big screen over here for the game tomorrow against Pitt, Robert Morris men's basketball taking on Pitt, home opener for the UPMC Event Center. Today, however, is going to be, it's a great day right now. Let's take a look at the graphic here, 48 degrees. Currently, we're right around 45, low of 28. We'll hit that later. 80% humidity and 70% chance of precipitation, That'll happen later on the day as you get into it overnight. That'll be where you're going to see most of that rain. But for right now, let's head back to John and Sonu for more RMU Live.
Thank you, Luke. We will be back with the latest RMU news.
Stay tuned for more.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to RMU Live. Renovations to Robert Morris University's John Jay Center will be kicked off with a groundbreaking ceremony on Tuesday. The event will begin at 3:30 p.m. and will kick off RMU's Day of Celebration, which will be followed by the first basketball game in the UPMC Event Center against the Pitt Panthers at 6 p.m. Ambassador Robin Sanders will be visiting RMU on Wednesday to talk about seeing cultures as information systems. Sanders is a Rooney visiting scholar and a trustee of the university. The event will take place in Wheatley 110 and is set to begin at 2 p.m. A reception will follow in the Wheatley atrium.
Yesterday, Bob Dylan and his band held a concert at the Robert Morris's new UPMC Event Center. But last week, RMU Century Media's Garrett Roberts sat down with Scott Zimmerman to discuss the facility. Garrett Roberts has more.
As Robert Morris University prepares for a busy week full of events around campus, the UPMC Event Center has become a hot topic among students. While the center has become a part of campus life, many students still have questions about what the center is and how to engage with concerts and events properly. Scott Zimmerman, General Manager of the UPMC Event Center, shares some insights into what students should know about this venue.
So we view the UPMC Event Center as a live sports and entertainment venue that services the internal campus for athletics and other types of events, and then externally does obviously concerts and family shows currently.
The UPMC Event Center, while not as large as other venues in the Pittsburgh area, still has an impressive capacity of 4,000 people. Featuring a variety of seating, as well as space for standing room spectators, the venue is able to accommodate a variety of acts and sports, which will be important for the upcoming basketball game against Pitt.
You know, we're certainly not in competition with PBG Paints for events based on the capacity. But we might compete with the theater space that has a capacity of about 2,800 and Stage AE, which has the indoor capacity that's under 2,000.
Another factor the center must accommodate is parking. While there is an ample amount of parking lots around campus, there has to be a balance between students and event attendees. As a result, the center has worked closely with the RMU Police Department to find lots that are available during shows and ensure that they are open for bigger events.
So there are traditionally 3 dedicated areas that are immediately dedicated to the event center, which are the lower event center lot, the upper event center lot, which includes accessible seating behind us, and then the Patrick Henry lot.
The UPMC Event Center is also open to feedback for the acts that they schedule. By interacting with the center through their social media and website, they can work with students to get acts that interest campus and can get higher student turnout.
We encourage that feedback for sure, in terms of how things are going, how the event center is received, how well the events are done, or just a simple, tell us what you think.
For more information on the UPMC Event Center, students can check their website, upmceventcenter.com, or find their social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Students can also buy tickets online or while on campus. For RMU Century Media, I'm Garrett Roberts.
Thank you, Garrett. The Robert Morris men's basketball team will christen their home arena on Tuesday as they host the University of Pittsburgh Panthers. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. The next concert held at the center will be Sarah Bareilles with special guest Emily King on Friday, November 15th at 8 p.m. Tickets are still available on Ticketmaster.com and the Event Center box office.
For the full story on the Event Center and for more information on news, sports, and arts and entertainment, visit RMUCentralMedia.com.
When we come back, Greg Sutton is in the studio for an update on Pittsburgh sports.
Stay tuned for more on RMU Live.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Back to RMU Live. According to the university's 2019 audit, Penn State has paid more than $118 million to people who claim they were sexually abused by Jerry Sandusky. Officials from the college previously say that the number was around $113 million. PSU says that more could be paid in the future. Sandusky was convicted and sentenced in 2012 to 30 to 60 years. Greg Sutton is at our sports desk ready to give us a recap of Pittsburgh sports. What do you have for us, Greg?
Well, Joel, the Pittsburgh Steelers were in action on the North Shore yesterday in their Week 10 matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. Pittsburgh has won their past 3 games and we're looking to extend the streak in their midseason push. The Steelers triumphed over the Rams 17-12 and did so without both of their starting running backs. The Steelers traveled to the Dog Pound in Cleveland, Ohio to face Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns for the Week 11 Thursday night football game at 8:20. The Pittsburgh Penguins hit the ice Saturday to take on the visiting Chicago Blackhawks at PPG Paints Arena. Historically, the Penguins have struggled against this Windy City opponent, only winning 48 of their 145 matchups. Yet, at the decisive shootout, the Penguins came away with a victorious 2-3 victory. Penguins will travel to New York tomorrow to take on the New York Rangers tomorrow at 7:20 in Madison Square Garden. That's all for sports for right now. Let's go back to John and Sonu.
Greg, coming up, we have this week's Health Minute and a potential breakthrough in HIV and AIDS research. Stay tuned on RMU Live.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Colorectal cancer is one of the most common cancers in American men and women. And a new study suggests some popular foods may be linked to higher risk. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
It's popular on breakfast plates, but a new study may make you rethink eating sausage or bacon. The research published in the International Journal of Epidemiology suggests those much-loved processed breakfast meats are linked to higher rates of colorectal cancer for people who eat them often, with chances of getting the disease being nearly 20% higher for every processed meat the size of a slice of bacon eaten per day. Red meat appears linked to the risk as well. Researchers say people who ate 76 grams of red or processed meat per day, which is roughly the same as a burger with a quarter pound of beef, had a 20% higher chance of developing colon cancer compared to those who ate about a third that much per day. The study tracked the diets of nearly 500,000 British adults between the ages of 40 and 69. During a roughly 5-year period, more than 2,600 of the study's participants developed colorectal cancer. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A pharmaceutical company in Baltimore believes that it may have a potential cure for HIV and AIDS. The drug is a single dose and the FDA is currently examining the drug. The company believes that they will hear back from the FDA before the end of the year. If the drug is approved, it could still be several years before it is approved for the market.
And after the break, Greg Sutton is here to talk about RMU sports.
Stay tuned for more.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to RMU Live. Greg Sutton is back in our sports desk, ready for a quick recap of Robert Morris sports.
How's Bobby Moe looking, Greg?
Well, guys, Colonial football hit the turf at Joe Walton Saturday for an exciting matchup against their cross-city rival, the Duquesne Dukes. Both teams entered the weekend undefeated in conference, so that means only one team could stay perfect. And after 4 quarters of play, Robert Morris emerged on top, 41-21. The Colonials defense had 4 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries. Mason Gray had a huge game, grabbing 2 interceptions and returning them both for touchdowns and also forcing a fumble. This is the first time that RMU has beat Duquesne since 2012. The Colonials will push on with their undefeated campaign Saturday in Blue Devil territory in Connecticut to take on Central Connecticut University with a noon kickoff time. Colonials men's hockey returned to the ice this past weekend to face the Canisius Golden Griffs in a home-and-home series. On Friday, they were in Buffalo, New York, and were able to head back to Neville Island with a 4-2 win on their backs. They then hit the ice again Saturday in front of their home fans and able to sweep the weekend against Canisius with a second 4-2 win. They play again Friday on the road against Bentley. The women's hockey team was also on the ice, except their weekend would be spent up in the over in the Midwest to go face Lindenwood Lions in Missouri. On the first night of the play, the Colonials were able to shut out the Lions 2-0. The next day, the Colonials were also able to grab a win 4-2. The Colonials are 4-0 against conference opponents so far this season. Robert Morris has this weekend off and will play again the weekend of November 22nd. There's no need to fear, basketball is here. Both men's and women's basketball have returned to action here at Robert Morris. The men's basketball team played 2 games in the MABC Invitational, playing both Marshall and Notre Dame. The men played Marshall last Thursday and could not track down the Herd, losing 67-60. They played Notre Dame that Saturday and were unable to subdue the Fighting Irish, losing 92-57. The men's basketball team play their first home game tomorrow in the UPMC Event Center against Pitt. Tip-off will be at 6 and will be available on ESPNU and ESPN 970. The women's team also kicked off their campaign to defend the NEC title this past week. The Colonials traveled to the Lone Star State to take on the TCU Horned Frogs and lost by the tally of 66-61. But they were back in action again Saturday as well in the city of brotherly love to play LaSalle. The Colonials were able to grab their first win in the 2019 campaign. They will play their first home game on Wednesday, the 13th, against Youngstown State with a 7 p.m. tip-off time. Robert Morris football is not the only team on campus undefeated in conference play. Robert Morris volleyball has yet to lose a match in their 2019 campaign as well. Also, meaning that the UPMC Event Center is yet to witness a loss in its existence. The Colonials faced off against the St. Francis Brooklyn on Saturday just after the football game had wrapped up. The Colonials made short work of the Terriers, sweeping the match in 3 straight sets, as they have done to 9 other matches so far this season. The closest RMU volleyball has come to defeat was against Central Connecticut State last Friday. Robert Morris volleyball will look to head into conference playoffs undefeated when they play Fairleigh Dickinson Friday and Long Island University on Saturday, both matches being on the road. This past Sunday, the men's soccer club were in action again for their final match of the season against St. Francis in Loretto, Pennsylvania. The Colonials were shut out 3-0. The Colonials finished their 2019 campaign with 4 wins, 11 losses, and 2 draws. That's all that we have for RMU Sports. Let's go back to the desk to John and Sonu.
To learn more about all news RMU, be sure to catch RMU Focus Fridays at 1 p.m. To hear more about Pittsburgh sports, tune in to Sports Talk in the Burgh at 5:30 on Wednesdays, 5 o'clock, my apologies. And for all your updates on Robert Morris Sports, catch Colonial Sports Center Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. here on RMU-TV.
Coming up after the break, a fire continues to blaze through the Australian outback.
And Luke Yost is back in the Weather Center to give us a full look at the weather. Stay tuned.
Physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back. More than 70 fires are active in South Wales and about 50 more neighboring Queensland. At least 3 people have been killed and 2 firefighters were injured. Arlie Walsh from 9 News Australia has more on this report.
The bushfire emergency in New South Wales and Queensland is headed into uncharted territory. Where I am in Sydney, residents in the greater metropolitan area are being told to brace for catastrophic conditions come Tuesday. It'll be a very dangerous day with very hot, very dry, very windy conditions, and it'll be the first time in history that Sydney has ever been met with such catastrophic conditions. As such, more than 40 schools will be closed, with emergency crews warning residents to get their evacuation plans in place now. As it stands, more than 70 fires are burning across New South Wales. 150 homes have been destroyed and 3 people killed. Across the border in Queensland, people have also been forced to flee, with more than 40 fires burning across the Sunshine State, with dire warnings that the worst is yet to come.
Thank you, Arlie. Luke Yost is back in the studio with a full look at today's weather forecast. Luke, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Sonia. Let's take a look at today's forecast. 48 degrees and rainy towards the end of the day today. 82% humidity and 70% precipitation. 28 the low. We'll hit that overnight. Chance of snow. But let's take a look at the hourly forecast for today. Right now, 47 degrees coming up at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 46. And as we head into the night, at 9 o'clock, 39 degrees, and it'll progressively get colder down to that 28 degree mark. For tomorrow, let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast. That'll be for the Pitt versus Robert Morris game in, as Greg put it, the undefeated UPMC Event Center. Outside, they will have a big screen for you to go. If you don't have the tickets for the game, you can go out there, check out the game, and watch the game. But dress for the cold. It'll be 31 degrees outside, low of 17. 64% chance of, or 50% chance of precipitation, and that'll be snow as we do hit that low 28 tonight. That'll probably turn into snow, but might not stick due to the ground temperature not being quite warm enough. But let's look at the 5-day forecast here for the rest of the week. Wednesday, 32, the low of 24. It's going to be sunny, but again, rainy and cold that day as well. Thursday, a little warmer. not as sunny. Friday 41 and as well as Thursday. Saturday cold and 39, and then Sunday 47. But let's head it back to John and Sonu on the desk for more RMU Live.
Thank you, Luke, and thank you for joining us this week on RMU Live.
For Luke Yost, Greg Sutton, Sonu Babu, and everybody in the control room and down in the studio, I'm John Blinn. We'll see you next week.